Dance Arts of Columbia provides fitness fun for everyone from 3 years old to adult. Dance Arts is a good environment where the friendly staff makes you feel comfortable. Dance Arts feels that dance is an art form that you can experience firsthand by learning tap, jazz, modern, musical theater, lyrical, and ballet. Dance Arts urges you to enjoy a sense of accomplishment while getting fit and having fun. For class information, call 875-1569. Dance Arts of Columbia, serving Columbia since 1979.
Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends on Monday, July 27th. Good to have you here. And I've got one guest, and one interesting guest, Jack Schultz. Welcome back, Jack. Jack is the director of the Life Science Center, and this guy is one of the most interesting people that I know. When he came in today, I said, what are we going to talk about? And he said, what do you want to talk about? I mean, the guy, he can discuss anything you bring up. So we decided that we're going to talk about the sounds that we hear at nighttime, insects of the night, right?
Bugs of the night, yeah. Well, the reason I thought of that is that at this time of the year, there's a really obvious sound coming from trees mainly. It goes ch-ch-ch-ch like that. And that's an insect called a katydid. Mm-hmm. It's named that because people used to think that it sounded like it was saying katydid, katydidn't, katydid, katydid.
That's how the katydid got its name?
Yeah. That particular one doesn't sound like that to me, but anyway. But katydids are related to grasshoppers. That particular katydid, which is called the common katydid, not very fancy, is about 2 inches long and green. It looks very much like the leaves of the trees it's on. It eats leaves, and they're really hard to find unless you listen. Why are they making all this racket? Well, once again, it's sex. They're trying to call a mate. Mm-hmm. So what you'll hear is a male making a rasping sound or a female making a rasping sound, and they're trying to attract each other this way. The way they do it is by rubbing their leg against their wings. They have like a tooth and file mechanism, so that as they move the wing back and forth, it rubs against the tooth and makes a loud rasping sound.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
And the crickets are the same way, aren't they?
Yeah, they make the sound a little differently. The crickets have their two main wings have this pick and file arrangement on the two wings. And so what they do is they rub the two wings together to make that sound.
What I find amazing is the little tiny insects rubbing their wings together can make so much sound, such a loud sound. And to me, that is the sound of summer, which is a very relaxing sound.
Absolutely. There's a risk associated with it, though, and you mentioned crickets. Most insects have parasites that are trying to infect them. Often it's flies or wasps. Crickets have a fly parasite that would like to find a cricket and lay an egg in it. The egg would hatch, and the fly's larva would eat the cricket. Okay, it's kind of icky, but it's very, very common. And the way the fly can find a cricket, of course, is by listening for it. Mm-hmm. Okay, so when you listen to crickets call, they often call for a long time, but they'll take a break periodically.
Is that to as a decoy for the flies?
They're trying not to be found, so they won't make themselves any more conspicuous than they have to be. So they do get caught every once in a while. So a fly will find the cricket, lay an egg on it successfully, but there's a problem for the fly. If that cricket continues to call, it's going to attract other flies, which will also come along and lay their eggs in the same cricket. And then all of the fly larvae, the maggots, will have to compete with each other and won't get enough to eat. So the first thing a parasitic fly does after attacking a cricket is deafen it, or I should say silence it. It essentially eats the portions of the wings that the cricket use to signal, so that the cricket is silent.
How do you do research finding this out, that the fly is eating the wings of the cricket to silence it?
Well, somebody must have observed this at some point. I mean, there are a lot of us, bug fans, entomologists, who spend a lot of time just watching insects. And somebody must have noticed this at some point.
The same thing with the cicadas that we have.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, there was a story in the paper in the Trib earlier this year saying that the cicadas were not in central Missouri. Mm-hmm. And I took issue with that because I had tons of cicadas out at my house about 35 miles north of Columbia. The cicadas, what, every 13 years and every 17 years?
It depends. Those are different species. One species comes out every 13 years. Another species comes out every 17 years.
Okay, where are they for 17 years? In the ground?
In the ground, feeding on roots of trees.
And they're alive for 17 years.
They're alive for 17
living
years.
Living in the ground, feeding on the roots of trees. They're
That's
not hurting the trees, though, right?
Not much, no. In fact, they're feeding on the part of the tree that transmits mostly water. So they get a really thin, weak diet that way. It's the xylem, we call it, in the tree. That's where the water comes in the root and goes up to the top.
So how do they know when their 13 years is up or their 17 years is up and they need to come out and do their thing again?
I don't think anybody knows the actual mechanism. Lots of animals and plants have interior clocks that keep track of periods of time. That's an exceptionally long period of time. But they're not responding to any environmental cues because nothing changes over the 13 years that would be a reliable signal to them. You know, like when birds migrate, they can see the days get shorter, and that triggers their desire to move. These things are in the ground with no light or anything. They're not getting a signal.
But somehow they know it's time to come out.
Probably an internal molecular clock of some sort. Why do they all come out in a big crowd, though?
I don't know. Why do they?
Well, nobody can know for sure, but the best explanation is that if they all come out at once, there aren't enough birds and squirrels and things to eat them all. So some of them are definitely going to escape.
Otherwise, if they came out one at a time, they could become extinct.
They get gobbled up, yeah. This is called predator saturation or predator satiation. You flood the predator with so much to eat that it can only catch a couple and
the species will survive.
Right, yeah. Mm-hmm.
When you look at how nature takes care of itself, you realize what a wonderful, wonderful world we live in. It is a pity that we don't observe more around us and that we don't have more care and concern and love for the earth.
A study published last week showed that your brain health is statistically significantly improved by spending time outdoors.
So the more time you spend outdoors, the better
healthier
your brain
you are.
health is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Jack, we're just about out of time, and we've covered a lot of the insects.
Yeah.
There's still a lot more to go, though.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, there are millions of species of insects. We could do 10 minutes on insects as long as you want.
Jack Schultz, thank you so much. I really always look forward to your appearances on Radio Friends.
Well, thank you.
Director of the Life Science Center at the university. If people want more information, they want to come by and visit, can they do that?
They may do that.
What's the phone number to call?
Let's see, 882-85. I don't know. Look it up. I'm
Okay.
sorry. I keep forgetting my phone number. I'm sorry.
The Life Science Center.
Life Science
Look it
Center.
up, give them a call, and they'll set a tour up for you. Jack Schultz, thank you so much for coming by. Tomorrow, Bradford Farms and Peacemaker's Quilt Show. Our program directed by Travis McMillan, Reynolds Journalism Institute. Audio is Pat Akers from KBIA. Our floor director is Lowell Thomas, and our assistant producer and guest coordinator, Uncle James Mauser. We'll see you tomorrow.